it's amazing to see you still around. The work that you and Oye did to encourage women into politics, it was amazing. And I had the privilege of being a reporter, following you around everywhere and doing your press conferences.
From Joy, right?
Those days I was at Joy, yes. I remember when you guys picked the forms to run district assembly elections, just to encourage women to do it. You guys did a fantastic job. I don't remember what your role at FIDA was at the time, but I think you had...
I was the executive director.
Yes, you were the executive director of FIDA, yes. And that's the umbrella that you had used to move on this thing. And you were very much appreciated by the Gladys Asmes, Christine Checha, Comfort Owusu, and all of those people.
Yes.
You did such a fantastic job.
Supportive of me.
But in this country, we don't often remember these things. I mean, those people like you and Oye were those who made women want to participate in public life at the beginning, because we had just come from the coup, and all the women were not interested in this public life thing. But you moved on and encouraged the young people, and then today you have young people in parliament. I mean, we couldn't have thought about in 96 that we have a 30-something-year-old woman in parliament. Today we have them, and I think it's credit to you. You've done a fantastic and amazing job. So when I heard that you were worried about something, I was worried too, that when people like Gloria Ofori Buadu are worried, because I'm sure you sat back knowing that the work has been achieved, it's going on. Young people, young women are participating. But when I heard on Asasi Radio that Gloria is talking about something she's worried about, I said, hey, that's why I called you, and thank you for coming. So you are worried about the Chief Justice processes. But the Constitution guarantees it, says that where you want to, the Constitution knew that maybe one day we might want to remove a Chief Justice. So it puts it there. What's the problem with that, Auntie Gloria?
Well, don't forget that we have the Constitution in law and in practice. We are a constitutional democracy, right? We are just 30-something years old. The presidential system of government that we are looking at, which is the United States system, has never removed the Chief Justice. And I mean never.
Do they have those provisions?
Never. The provisions are there in theory, okay? But in practice, they have never, okay? When you go to their constitution, yes, a Chief Justice of the U.S. can be removed through an impeachment process. First, impeachment by the House by a simple majority vote, and then a trial in the Senate. The only time they tried to use it, only one Supreme Court Justice, Samuel Chase, in 1804, he wasn't even the Chief Justice, has ever, been impeached. But even then, he was acquitted during trial by the Senate. So, in a matter of constitutional democracy, there are some offices that are untouchable. That's all I'm saying. And one of those offices is the judiciary, and particularly the head of the judiciary, the Chief Justice. Unless we want to remove the Chief Justice every month, then let's look at the president. Even with the president, the Constitution provides for the removal of the president. And one of them, which made me laugh, was that if the president does not, is performing something which is inimical to the economy or the security of the state. And I'm like, economy, then we'll remove our president with every budget.
Read that provision again. Article what?
Oh, Article 69, Clause 1, 3, First, the president, the grounds on which he can be removed, which is similar to grounds on which our judiciary, our Chief Justice can be removed. Willful violation of his oath of office, and then conducting himself.
I like the economic thing. That's what I want to hear. 69.3, you said?
No, 69.1. Article 69.1. Article 69, Clause 1.
Okay, I got it.
2.
69.1. Okay, it says
B2.
B2, eh? Okay, so let's say it says the president shall be removed from office if he is found in accordance with the provisions of this article A to have acted in willful violation of the oath of allegiance and the presidential oath set out in the second schedule 2, or in willful violation of any provision of this or of this constitution. Yeah, you're right. We can get it.
Or to have conducted himself in a manner.
To have conducted himself in a manner which brings or is likely to bring the high office of president into disrepute, ridicule or contempt. Oh, we can get plenty.
Or
prejudicial or inimical to the economy or the security of the state. Inimical to the economy. Somebody can say that the president passed e-levy. It's inimical to the economy, so we should go ahead.
I mean, so at the end of the day, it's so ridiculous. It's never done. And when we look at C, it says, incapable of performing the functions of his office by reason of infirmity or body, okay, of body or mind. Look at, we had a situation where President John Evans Atta Mills, may his soul rest in peace, one of my best lecturers, was,
incapacitated,
yes,
health-wise.
Yes, but we never did that. We never dreamt of removing.
We didn't even start it.
No,
I think you're right.
It's a constitutional democracy.
In the
Look
US,
at even the Democrats.
Justice Rehnquist, the Chief Justice, got to the point where he could not even walk. When he's sitting, he slumps his chair back and then nobody knows whether he's asleep. But nobody removed him.
How about President Biden, who said finally that he himself will not contest elections? There were so many times, like number of times that he was believed to have fainted or fallen,
and that's
or
clear.
something.
Fainting in public is obvious that you are not strong.
But for the sake of constitutional democracy, which we believe in for purposes of our development, our future, and sustainability of our youth, their development, we don't mess with our democracy. We don't mess
So
with
what
our
do we do with
democracy.
the Chief Justice who is doing something wrong?
Doing something wrong?
Yes, or has done something wrong.
Doing something wrong?
Yes.
Who is the one to tell us who is doing something wrong?
But there are provisions in the
like
law.
Yes, there are provisions.
Article 146.
There are provisions also under Article 69
For the
of
president,
the economy. Yes.
So you're saying that when somebody becomes
we-
president and somebody becomes Chief Justice, we can sympathize with the president because he's directly elected by the people. But a Chief Justice is appointed and you say
the
that
role of the Chief
somebody
Justice,
will ask you, is he above the law?
The role of the Chief Justice and the role of the President are sacrosanct to our constitutional democracy.
Does it include the Vice
That is why they
President?
have similar provisions. When you look at the Speaker of Parliament, when you look at the MPs, it talks of how they will vacate their offices. It's silent on removal because there are processes on how a Speaker can vacate his office or how, an MP shall vacate his seat. But if you realize with the removal, there's only the position of the president akin to the position of the Chief Justice. So my question is, those who drafted the Constitution knew exactly why there are provisions for the removal of the president, which is the grounds. The grounds are similar to that of the Chief Justice. And when we look at it,
So it
means that it's in theory, but it shouldn't happen.
It's in theory, but it shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't. Otherwise, we'll change our presidents every
when you say that, when somebody becomes
and then
Chief
we'll
Justice,
also change our Chief Justice. You remember the last Chief Justice? We kept reading about petitions, but the Supreme Court did not.
No, the president dismissed those petitions. President Akufo-Addo dismissed several petitions on Chief Justice.
We had Justice Adom-Otchere and all of them. They did not go into that because they understand the import of the judiciary and the position of Chief Justice to our constitutional democracy. Let's not treat our democracy with frivolity because it took ages to get even. At first, all the coups came in after 2 years of a democratic government. This is the first time in 32 or 3 years that we've had a sustained democracy. Are we thinking of a democracy that the rules and the principles and the practices are changed at the whims and caprices of parties, political parties, ethnic groups, civil society leaders, individuals? Let's not be frivolous. Let's not toy with our constitutional democracy. A president has never been removed, even though there are grounds for it in practice. Likewise, a Chief Justice has not and should not be, because before the person gets to that position, we know what they go through. You should be a person of moral, you have to be high moral standard.
You appear before Parliament's Appointments Committee. All the time they do.
Yes, and you should have
I
gone
think you are right, because the Chief Justice can be sued whilst as Chief Justice if there's a problem. He can be sued, can't he? Yes, a Chief Justice can be sued.
Which article are you referring to?
No, I'm just saying that as part of the remedies, where somebody will say that, do you therefore mean that somebody becomes a Chief Justice above the law? One of the remedies is that you can take legal action against the Chief Justice. If for some reason, Eneyabo was sued, wasn't he, by these
But you can't
people.
remove a Chief Justice.
No, not the removal. I'm just saying that the remedy, not suing the person to remove the person, but when the person has done something wrong, you can take legal action.
whatever can be done that will not threaten our constitutional democracy,
we should do it.
In practice is in order. But not when we are just nurturing our democracy and then we are listening to everybody and jumping and running around looking to remove our Chief Justice or, our president. It doesn't work that way.